Hey
What's
guys,
going on, good people?
welcome back till death do us part. I'm hoping you all had a wonderful day. How was your day, babe?
It was good.
Awesome. Let me go find this cover. I'll be right back. Go ahead and talk, babe.
What's going on, y'all? So, today, I guess we're going to talk about weathering the storm and riding the roller coaster. Um, you know, talking about those things where it wasn't so good, it wasn't beautiful. The different situations, arguments, not going to sleep, angry. That's better yet, easier said than done. Um, also, just we're gonna rock out. Whatever we end up talking about, that's what we end up talking about. And you see, we got our visitor. Our visitor is still here with us. She if we wasn't if we didn't plan to do this,
She'll be out
she
like a
would be
light.
out like a
Hey
light.
guys.
My fault.
All right, so babe, do you remember what's the first argument you remember?
Mm-hmm. Yesterday, no. But, I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember the first. I could talk about how bad I handled it though.
Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, that was I was stubborn. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that was the place in life where I was stubborn. Uh, I wasn't all the way there. I was like, how they say it, I was like newly converted at that time.
What, into Christianity?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wasn't um, love your love your wife like yourself. It was she get on my nerves, and I'm mad at her right now.
Yeah.
Sleep in the same bed, be angry, sleep back to back.
Yeah. I don't know. Remember when I was in school and I would come home really, really late and you used to kind of get upset about that?
Yeah, because we were like
Newlyweds.
Yeah.
And I could not understand that for nothing initially.
Yeah, I guess it's because it goes back to the expectation thing. Like I don't know if like there was a serious expectation, but it was an expectation to build. It was an expectation to get to know each other because I wasn't the same person from 2005 when we met each other. I wasn't the same person from 2006 when I went to Charlotte to help my father open this company.
He did not help his father open the company, y'all. He lied to me and told me his father was starting a company in North Carolina and he was going. But the reality was, gag is, homeboy was going down there to get his love Mac on.
No, it wasn't that.
So what was it?
I was moving. I just moved.
Oh, okay. So why'd you have to lie?
I don't know.
I
don't know. It wasn't like I was lying to lie.
So what were you lying for, babe?
I don't know, because it was the easiest thing to do. What are you talking about?
You couldn't just say I moved.
But our relationship was weird too, though.
How was it weird?
It was because it was like I like her, but I don't know how to give her all of my attention. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was that same way with you. Like, I like him, but I don't know how to cut off all the other people that I have. Because at that time, you was pimping. You was the pimping security guard. Don't try to act like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm not going to claim any of that.
You was the pimping security guard with the red lipstick. So when I say, I don't know. I felt like it could have been something because it did become something. It became something great. But I feel like get up. Oh,
she wanted.
Yeah, so I feel like it could have been something great, but at that time we were in a whole different place.
Right.
You know, so I was living reckless. You were kind of sort of living reckless. You couldn't live really reckless though, because your dad was a police officer.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I wasn't really in Christ. I was just drinking and making my sales before I went to work. So I made sure we had perfect Peter money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess it was easier to lie because the relationship was weird. And when I say weird, it's not like it wasn't a bad weird. Like it was a great vibe. We had a really great friendship. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm happy that we didn't kind of pursue it then, because I think it would have damaged what we are now. But I mean, it was crazy. But the argument thing, I don't think I handled it really well because I was selfish. I was stubborn. I was still worried about my own personal feelings instead of being worried about your feelings. And I feel like it was just a learning process. It took a while, you know, because like I said, that friction, you know, when two people are becoming one, it's like iron sharpening iron, and it's that friction that's there. And you try to figure out how to respond and how to do it, because you always want to do it right. But like I said, not having a positive point of reference, you know,
that changes things.
It changes things. You know, when you deal with people who like my feelings are more valid, so I'm going to make sure that you know that my feelings are more valid. And I don't think that's what it is when you get into a marriage. It's not about your feelings. Everything you should do should be catering to the other person's feelings. You know, because if you feel like, you know that, I guess like they putting your feelings away and sacrificing who you are for you guys to become one. And the sacrifice is doing it without expecting anything in return. You know, and I think that's where I wasn't there. What about you?
Yeah, I could agree. I wasn't accustomed to arguing. So arguments was like very hard for me. Even confrontation period was like very difficult for me. I was accustomed to like maybe having an argument over the phone or something, but not face to face, and me being able to go to my separate place and you be able to go to your separate place, and I decide when I want to deal with you again. But in this instant, I didn't have an option to say, well, you go ahead over here and I go over here. I actually had to tunnel through that, and that was really, really difficult. And I found myself praying a heck of a lot more than I ever have in my life.
And that apartment was really small.
Absolutely.
You could,
and every time you look up, no matter how furious I was with you, I saw you. Like it was no getting away from him.
That apartment was really small too.
Lord. So I definitely learned how to have confrontation without like getting very upset to where it probably turned physical.
Maybe you were better at it than me, because I don't know. I think I wasn't good. But you know what I can't remember though? What I do remember, I remember that time that we wrote a sermon mad at each other.
It was fire too though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it turned out to really be dope. But we wrote a sermon, what was it, through Google Doc?
Yep.
Through something.
Through Google Doc.
We was beefing with each other and we wrote a sermon and actually preached the sermon that we wrote. While we
and the Holy Spirit fell.
Yeah.
Fell like never before. I was like, well, it got done and the Lord moved. So it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we definitely learned how to argue or have disagreements without like brutally harming each other, which definitely was a task.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. You know, because it's like you even being frustrated you're still at the place where you're trying to take someone else's feelings into account.
Yeah.
That's insanity. You add more wear and tear to your physical, your heart, your mind, your spirit, holding on to something and still trying to care for somebody else. It's like unselfishly selfish.
Yeah.
So
it's easier to let it go.
Yeah, it is, because sometimes it really don't even be worth it. Like it's not even really
That's serious.
Right. It's like I said, like the title of it is Weathering the Storm and Riding the Roller Coaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
You be fearful. You fearful until you get on the roller coaster. But you already know the intent of the roller coaster when you build yourself up to get on there. So what are we fearful of? You understand what I'm saying? You already know that, like, you being in a relationship with somebody, be it marriage, be it friendship, be it family, it's going to be an argument. It's going to be a makeup. It's going to be a move on. It's going to be an argument. It's going to be a makeup. It's going to be a move on. Over and over and over and over and over. It doesn't change, because two people, true, right? Not only a lot of sacrificing and a lot of communicating, a lot of swallowing the things that you want to say as well.
Yeah, and you forgot change, because
and changing in the process too, because you have to realize, because during those situations, a lot of it happened because we say, I don't like when you do this to me.
Right.
And saying that I don't like this when you do this to me, you have to start taking it into account. But the crazy part about it, a lot of the time we don't take it into account when you first started,
right,
because you're still trying to hold on to how you feel about the situation. So you're right, Miss Tillman. Where your husband at? How he doing over there?
But you know what? In holding on to situations and how you feel, I think it is important that you share how you feel about things.
Yeah.
Like, it's not important for one person's feelings to outweigh the next person's.
Right.
Your feelings are very valid, and it's very, very important.
Right.
That you speak.
Right. And not only that, right? You have, even in being married, you have to learn to love someone outside of your love language.
Absolutely.
Because most of the time when you fall in love with somebody or the person that you're dating, you normally don't have the same love language.
No. Because we can definitely talk about that.
Yeah, because I like getting stuff.
Yes. And I'm like,
don't touch me, just give me something.
Yeah, I'm more so like, I don't care. Every day is a day to give. I could care less about gifts. But him, oh God, for his birthday, holidays, please get him a gift. Because if you don't, you're on the poop list.
Yeah, but
I had to definitely learn how to speak your
language. That's my love language. You understand? Like even now, right? I kind of feel like somehow not only my love language of wanting gifts, my love language of affirmations also fell on my sons.
Right.
My sons feel the same way. My sons like being affirmed. Mikhail can kind of go a while, but then he'll give you that I need love today thing.
Yeah.
You'll have to love on him hard all day. You understand what I'm saying? But Grayson always has to be affirmed. You have to affirm Grayson back to back to back to back to back to back to back. You understand what I'm saying? Makai, he always has to be affirmed, because it's not that they suffer from anxiety, but they don't want to make a mistake. They work hard at trying to always make sure that you approve of who they are. You understand what I'm saying? So,
right.
And then, even with Mikhail, when he gets to that place where he needs his love, he also is in that place where he wants to be physically touched too. So he has both of our love languages, because he wants to be affirmed, but he also wants to be physically touched. So like outside of that, but yeah, in order to love somebody, you got to learn to love somebody outside of your love language.
That's true.
Because her love language isn't receiving gifts. It doesn't matter how many gifts I buy, she'll be appreciative of the gifts that I bought, but the love language I still won't be talking to her spirit because of the love language. If I don't give her the physical time, then I don't get my physical time. You understand what I'm saying? and it's just being honest, because you have to speak to the love language to make sure that you're meeting the need of the person.
That's right.
The love language is part of the need, and we have to make sure that we meet the need of the person. That's true. Understand what I'm saying? Because all of this stuff, man, is crazy. You know, like I tell y'all from the beginning, we don't kind of know everything. We know the stuff that we endured, and we know what we learned on the way. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to learn to love somebody outside of your love language, because I could have bought all the gifts, but if I never learned that her love language was physical touch, quality time, she got all that other stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Physical touch, quality time, you know, having those conversations, you know, like even I work overnight. You know, I started making myself get up earlier so that we can go for walks before I go to work. You understand what I'm saying? I had to start putting myself in a position to meet her love language. You know, so that's also a part of it, you know. Weathering the storm, you know, it's
and sometimes it get hard. Talk about the times when I was pregnant.
Oh yeah, oh my God, man. I didn't shoot. Woo! I wish I could have. I wish we could have. It's not. Oh my God! That was the roughest time of our marriage, right?
Now that's storm.
But the crazy part about it, we got 8,000 kids. not only did I not like the fact that she was crazy or it was different when she was pregnant, I kept getting her pregnant. I made myself suffer. You understand what I'm saying? But being in those things, you know, those things teach you how to love better. You know, because it teaches you to love through your frustration. It teaches you to love through your irritation. It teaches you to love through those places that's not happy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It teaches you to still continue to love somebody in a place that's not a good place. You understand? And I feel like that's one of those things that you have to endure too. You know, loving somebody when you're not in a good place.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because even with that being said, we do. Even with that being said, you know, I went through a really rough time when my mother passed away. You understand what I'm saying? And even when I went through that rough time when my mother passed away, God was still teaching me to love my family through my pain. You know, I was in a very, very, very bad place. You understand what I'm saying? And God taught me to love my family through my pain, you know, to even deal with my sons. Like, man, my Mikhail used to wake up in the morning and just have a really hard time before he went to school. He would have a really hard time. I miss Grandma Wanda, and we used to go through this almost every single day. And even though I was in a bad place, I still had to make sure that I was nurturing him while he was in a bad place, even in my bad place.
Right.
You know, so it's this. I'm telling you, Crystal, you right. It teaches you that it's something outside of yourself. It teaches you that it's things outside of you that have to be taken care of. You know, it's like when you have a garden, right? When you have that garden and you know that you have this garden, you know this garden has to be tended to in order for it to flourish into what you want it to be. You have to get out there even when you don't feel like getting out there. Absolutely. Even when it's raining, even when the ground is hard, even when it's snow out there, even when it's 100 degrees, you still have to get out there and work in this garden to make this garden flourish to what it's supposed to be, even when you don't feel like doing it.
Absolutely.
It's when you have that garden, there's no day that you can wake up and say, I'm not going out there to deal with that garden today. You still have to get up and deal with that garden. Even now, with the me trying to lose weight, you understand what I'm saying? It's days I wake up and I don't feel like doing it. And it's like, but in order for the change to come, you have to be consistent. All of those things. Yeah. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Exactly. Right. You and guess what? You're only uncomfortable until both of you gets to your place of comfortability inside your marriage. And then once you two get into that place of comfortability inside your marriage, even the arguments, you'll be comfortable.
Yep.
Even in the place where you have problems, you'll still be comfortable because it's no screaming and yelling. It's just, hey, babe, I wasn't really feeling when you did this to me. Or I wasn't really feeling when this happened. Well, when this happened right here, I didn't like how this situation was handled. You understand what I'm saying?
You develop a safe place. It becomes your safe place.
Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? And it's crazy because, man, this thing, when God said, this is your first ministry, this is the pastoring that turns you into a pastor. This is the leadership that turns you into a leader. You understand what I'm saying? Going through this situation or going through this marriage and continuing to learn, continuing to grow, turns you into a leader. So when somebody does something inside the church that's wacky or crazy, you don't just fly off the handle. You got to start looking at those things like, okay, let me see why this person felt this way. Because you got to understand. All right, so this is what I want to say, right? Don't kill me for this, y'all. The reason why a lot of time there's some tension in the marriage is because we've done things that we wasn't supposed to do until we got married, before we got married.
Say it. Say it.
That's the reason why sometimes it's problems in the marriage.
That's right.
Because a lot of the times we've done things that we weren't supposed to do until we got married, before we got married.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So not only that, when something happens, you have to realize that everything that you've been through created triggers for you, and everything that she's been through created triggers for her. And both of y'all are in there trying to figure out what to do to keep the gun on safety. You're trying to figure out what to do so that you guys aren't constantly whipping out and drawing and firing down on each other.
That is true.
One of the most important things that they tell you when you go to the gun range and when you get your gun license is what, Mom Pam, what they tell you. Don't put your finger on the trigger unless you're going to shoot. That's one of the most important things they tell you when you go to the gun range and when you go to get your concealed to carry. Do not put your finger on the trigger unless you plan on obliterating whatever it is that's in front of you. That's why we have to learn each. It's a whole lot. It's like when you make soup, it's all of this stuff in the pot that's brewing together, that's cooking together until it comes to a place of likeness.
That's right.
But you got to remember, when you first put the meat in, it's kind of raw. The carrots are hard. The potatoes are hard. The celery's hard. The vegetable broth don't really have no flavor.
Everything's
you got to put all of this stuff in this pot and let this stuff cook down bit by bit until it's something that's pleasing. You understand? I'm telling you. So we have to realize, man. We create these marriages, and we do these things, and we don't really take the time to learn who the person we're getting married to is.
That's right. And
then a year down the line, I don't like that she does that to me, so I'm going to file for a divorce. But if you would have took time to learn the triggers,
that's right,
learn the things that the person has been through, then you realize and you learn to get outside of yourself, because there was some stuff that happened to you.
That's right.
It was some stuff that I dealt with. You understand what I'm saying? That wasn't suitable for us. It was a trigger to us.
Yes.
Some of our own personal experiences was triggers to each other. But if we didn't talk about it, then we wouldn't know. When we get to this place, I got to back out of that a little bit until we get to the place where we're comfortable. I can't just, when I know what her trigger is, I can't just expect to be able to suit her trigger right from the beginning. No, it takes practice, and you keep learning. You keep doing it over and over and over. Even when you upset, you go like was typed in the thing. You go from argument to conversation because you trying to move forward and do better and be better. Weathering the storm and riding the roller coaster. We all like going to the amusement park, right? But our fear kicks in when we start dealing with the roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, again, man, my Pam, y'all hear me, my Pam and Pastor Carter, y'all hear me tell this story all the time. Crystal too. Mikhail loved, when I say loved, I mean loved those rain boots. I hated those rain boots. But Mikhail, I used to ask him, I say, son, why do you always wear those rain boots? And he used to always tell me that I'm preparing for it to rain. So when it rains, I can jump in the puddle. As kids, we love going in the rain. We love jumping around and running around, acting crazy, stomping in the puddles and doing all of those things. And then when we become adults, because we pay a little bit of money for our bundles and for the barbershop and for our little sweaters and khakis and shoes that we get, we don't want to deal with the rain. We don't want it to get wet. You know, we think that the rain is going to wash away the value.
That's right.
But sometimes the rain comes just to water the seed. Sometimes you need rain because you've been working on stuff and you've been planting things and you've been praying for stuff and you've been asking God to do things in your marriage. But how can he make those things grow if he never makes it rain?
That's right. And then you value it more.
Exactly.
When you have to go through the rain.
True.
You should value it more. Successful marriage, you value happiness. You value those happy times a lot more when you have to endure the rain.
True. You know something? A lot of people step out of marriage trying to get advice from others. Exactly. Instead of putting the work in when they run to their spouse. Exactly. Work on your own marriage and keep everyone out. It causes exactly.
As well.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? A lot of the times, and I think it's a lot of the time it's probably more. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say that. But sometimes our mom or our dad ends up being the mistress of our marriage because we allow them to get involved and be involved in things that they're not supposed to be in. And then you don't, then it's hard. Once you give up the vulnerability, it's hard for you to protect your spouse from visitors of your house. Because sometimes you put your spouse in the harm's way of the visitor by informing the visitor of the vulnerabilities of your marriage. Sometimes our mom and our dad are the mistresses of our marriage. We love what they do. We see that you've been married for 10, 15, 20 years, right? But your 10, 15, 20 years are not going to be my 10, 15, 20 years. My marriage is going to be completely different. So I can ask for advice and then take those things that you tell me, add my spin to it, and then move on. But I can't take everything you say and move in my marriage off of only what you say because it's two different things.
Yeah, I think anybody can be the mistress of your marriage.
True.
Because if you tell anybody anything that's happening in your marriage, they can be okay.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, they can cause conflict in your marriage. So that can be mother, father, auntie, uncle, sister, brother, friend, cousin, anybody. So yeah, that is definitely true, Crystal.
But yeah, we got a lot of people who married. Man, we all learning. We're all learning, I promise you. Because we sit right here and talk like this. Sometimes we have to eat our words too.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we have to do those things. We have to restart too. You know? Exactly. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, it's like when, you know, like when let's say our parents, right? when they started dealing with rock and roll and blues and all of that stuff, their parents was like, that music, such and such and such and such and such and such, and they went in on that music, but they forgot the music that they started listening to that had their parents the same way. Mm-hmm. And then it went down the line and went down the line and went down the line and went down the line. And we continue to beat up on the kids for the decisions that they make, like we didn't make the same crazy and unrational decisions ourselves.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, man, I'm telling you, Miss McAlpine, thank you, because we learned a lot in that little apartment.
We sure
You can't run. There's nothing you can do.
We sure did.
There's nothing you can do. Thank you so much, because we learned a lot in that apartment. You understand what I'm saying? And listen, we say little now because of where we live, but that apartment was perfect for what we needed. It was just me, Aisha, and Makai.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? That apartment was great for what we needed at that time, but we couldn't run. That's what it was. And that at that place, the fear was different because we had to face everything.
We was face to face with each other
all the time.
Everything.
We couldn't run. It's nothing that we could do. We had to deal with it. And that's one of the greatest places. One of the greatest places of life for us was the fact that we got that apartment.
Yep. So what would you say when dealing with conflict? What would you suggest a husband do?
So I feel like sometimes you have to take a breather and realize that your actions are not your character.
Explain, baby.
A lot of the times I used to get offended because she would say, you did this. And I would take it as it was me. It was me. But it wasn't me. It was something that I did. You
right.
understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So you hold on to things more when it feels like it was you doing it instead of just an action. Mm-hmm. You know, so you got to take a breather and realize that when she says, hey, I didn't like when this happened, that is not you, because it's when as long as you're alive, you can change. So it's not you. It's just a behavior that happened in the process of you guys trying to build.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
What would you say to the wives?
I would tell a wife to pray, and always be sure to be vocal and express how you feel. It's important. A lot of times I notice a lot of wives that tell me stuff like, wait till it's a good time to say da 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 da. It's imperative that you have a voice in your marriage. It's imperative that you speak in your marriage and be heard and understood, that you develop that safe place in your marriage. That is beyond real. And again, I would also say pray, stay in prayer. Yes, talk to your husband, tell him about the things that offends you, hurts you, etc., etc. But then also go to the Lord and ask God to help him learn how to love you, because it ain't easy. It ain't easy, because most of the time when we get married, we done already had 25 to 30-something years of living, and we have already established who we are. Right. So it's going to take, just like it took 25 years for him to learn or be himself, it's going to take him even more time to learn how to love you and learn how to adopt those characteristics or those things that you really like or need in a husband. So you have to learn to be patient, and you have to learn to speak. Right. Be vocal. And like for me, I told you initially, I hated confrontation. I hated arguing. I hated disagreeing. That was something I totally tried to avoid like the plague. But it didn't help our marriage at all. It caused more problems than anything. So the moment I began to speak, I was able to tell him how I felt. He was able to implement that change. And of course, I was able to go to God in prayer and ask God to help me to learn how to speak with him. Oh, Lord, this child.
Girl, stop.
Learn how to speak with him and develop that level of communication that is needed in marriage. So I would definitely tell a wife, stay vocal and stay on your knees, stay in prayer, because that is the most important tool you're going to need in your marriage. God is the most important part of your marriage. We talked about everybody else having this person and that person in your marriage, but the one person you really need in your marriage is God. You need God in your marriage. He is the third strand. He is what sustains a marriage.
Mm-hmm. And the last time, did we talk about submitting? Did we talk about that the last time?
You touched on it just a little bit.
Yeah. You know, so, and then a lot of times, I guess we back to this because I feel like sometimes I feel like a lot of the time there's confusion because you hear a lot of people say, why do I need to submit? You're not the only person submitting.
Absolutely.
I have to submit too. You understand what I'm saying? But I have to submit to God in order to love you.
Right.
You just submitting to the direction that God gives me. Because only follow if I'm following Christ.
That's right.
If you don't see me following Christ, biblically, you can jump off the wagon.
Absolutely.
Don't hey, biblically, you can say, hey, that is not God, and I am not following it. But guess what? In that same sense, it says that the wife can convert the husband. So you know it's all in there for when we want to do those things. Yeah, you're right. But sometimes, Crystal, you know what? I'm gonna tell you that was hard for me for a while. It was hard for me for a while because it used to drive me crazy that my decisions affected so many people. It was hard for me to really be the head of the household because I was always so nervous about how my decisions would affect everybody else.
Yeah.
And and most of the time it played out the way that it was supposed to, but I was just nervous about it. You know, so
because that was a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go from being on your own, living a bachelor life, to taking on a wife and kids, that can be tough. So also, wives, you got to learn to be patient as well.
Yeah.
Because they're taking on a new role that they knew nothing about. That's if they didn't have like parents, fathers, and stuff like that. So. Yeah,
because this is what I want, and a lot of times, man, it's crazy because, I got my oldest son is 9, my youngest son is 5. I had a wife and 3 sons in 4 years. And it went from, oh my God, now it's real. You understand what I'm saying?
Now.
And guess what? In that place, I realized while some men run.
That's true.
It's hard.
That's true.
To look somebody in the face and say, I don't have what you need right now. It's hard to look somebody in the face and say, I'm going to fall short in the place that you trust me in. I'm going to not meet the mark that you have set for me right now. I realize why people run. Everybody, see, the neighborhood that I grew up in, we were taught to, I was taught to deal with life regardless. If however far it goes, I'm willing to go just that far. You understand what I'm saying? And that was in any way, in any fashion, I was ready to go just that far. And I had to bring those same things into my marriage because just as strenuous or however much we have a need, I'm willing to go that hard just to meet the need. But I also know that it's hard. And some people don't like to deal with hard. Some people can't handle hard. Some people can't handle falling short. Some people can't handle disappointing people. And sometimes in your marriage, in your parenthood, in your walk, you're going to fall short on the expectations that your wife and your kids have for you.
Absolutely.
And you have to realize that early, because if you don't realize that early, you'll end up walking away from something that's supposed to bless you.
That's truth, babe.
Y'all hear our little visitor?
That is true. And I really appreciate your vulnerability. Yep, I truly
Yeah, Crystal, and that happened, Crystal. It did. That happened, but it was hard for me to accept it because of where I was.
Yeah.
But now, hey.
Just as free as a bird. Yes.
But yeah, so, you know, I understand, man. You know, I understand why some people don't make it all the way to the finish line.
Yeah. Because
sometimes it get heavy. Sometimes it gets scary. Sometimes you get weary. I ain't talking about tired. You get weary. You weary beyond tired, where you feel like you don't have any more strength. You don't have any more. You don't have any wherewithal. You don't know how you gonna be able to make it happen. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know how this thing gonna play itself out.
Yeah. And then
right,
it plays itself out.
It worked.
That's right. Every time we get this close, somehow, I'm telling you, God provides.
Yeah,
He provides. So I don't even worry no more.
It's crazy, right? Because listen, think about 2 years ago. We probably had the money because I think I paid the light bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they cut the lights off, right? And it was crazy because I ended up having to go to work. This girl, she know how to come up with stuff.
I sure do.
Mikhail and them will never know that the lights was out. She had them boys running through that apartment like they was playing a game. We ain't had no lights.
You know it. You know it.
You know, and it's just like you said.
And nobody probably know that.
Yeah,
but now,
yeah, you know, sometimes you know, and it wasn't like we didn't have the money. I think it was a me thing, you know. In the process of being a provider, you have to realize that you can provide without trying to be responsible for everything. Now, I come home and I say, hey, these are the things that I want you to pay, and we'll pay these other 3 things next time, or we'll pay this next time, you know, because as a provider, you feel like you need to be in control. You can't, I'm sorry, the person who draws the dynamics of the building is usually not the person to build it.
Right.
The person who builds it is not the person to live there.
Right.
So you have to understand that you can be involved, but you don't have to be involved at every single level. You understand what I'm saying? So I realized that in being a provider, I don't have to be in control. Just because I provide don't mean I have to call Geico. Just because I provide don't mean I have to call Southern Maryland Energy Company. Mm-hmm. I can say, Aisha, this gotta be done. You know, so, but yeah, that too. So, you know, it's a good thing because it builds character.
Absolutely.
It builds strength, it builds endurance, it builds confidence, it builds all of those things.
It's been
It's
a journey.
work, though. Yeah.
It's been a journey. Sitting here listening,
work.
I'm like, it's been a journey, but God sustained us. He's keeping us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even now.
Yeah.
You know, but when we come out of this thing, right?
We come out as pure gold.
Right.
Come on now.
Not only that, you know, this thing births this I guess the pandemic birthed some stuff that was supposed to happen for a while.
That's right.
You know, so when we come out of this thing, man, we come out different. We come out in a better place. We come out as a team. You know, if you take in account what it is that you're supposed to learn from the situation.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we have to learn that we are the ministry.
That's
and
right.
In order to be the ministry, we have to be physically fit, we have to be mentally fit, and we have to be spiritually fit.
That's true.
But we were running around doing everything, and we wasn't really making time for God. And I don't believe neither here nor there. I wasn't. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You try to you stand in your position as firm as you can in the middle of chaos. And I call it chaos because we running around and we trying to do everything. We trying to make sure everything is straight. We trying to make sure everything is situated. And then we also trying to be the leader. You know, so anybody
weathering the storm.
Any questions? Riding the roller coaster. Indeed. Growth is always a necessity. It's always necessary.
Yeah.
That's why we got to make sure in the process of the growth that we're not lopping. You know, because sometimes we can stunt the growth without lopping.
Yeah.
You know, the way that we feel about ourselves and the way that we feel about, or the way that things look. You know, I was talking to Aisha the other day, you know, and not saying that we're in a bad place, but the life that I live right now is lying on me from what God said it's supposed to be.
That's good. Jake said something like that, didn't he? Yeah.
But I see it. I see it.
That's right.
And I got to keep chipping away. I got to keep chipping away. I got to keep chipping away. I got to keep becoming stronger and keep growing. And I'm coming for it.
That's right.
I'm coming for it. Be quiet, girl. I'm coming for it.
I know that's right.
Mm-hmm. Because me and Aisha had this conversation all the time. The land that we are going to end up with, our sons will not have to leave.
She said, "Birds is flying."
Yeah, the land that we're going to end up with, our sons are not going to have to leave.
Oh, girl.
It's going to be enough space for all of us.
I know that's right.
I ain't saying the house that we're going to live in. I said the land that we're going to get. They got to get out my house. A couple acres over. You know, because like Miss McAlpine, she up there again. I learned a lot about putting things in place for your kids from her too.
Absolutely.
She didn't use the blessing that she got in vain.
That's right.
And I know that she lives by the word, so I know that the children's children are straight.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? But I learned from having conversations with her. I'm going to do this for my daughter. I'm going to make sure that they have this. I'm going to make sure that this is what it's going to be. You know, it takes years. When years later you look back and you say, oh, this is what she was telling me.
Yeah.
You know? Or that's what it was supposed to be. You know? So
So again, weathering the storm.
Yeah.
Riding the roller coaster. No matter how tough marriage get, no matter how difficult times may seem, hang in there. It'll definitely be worth it. Continue to weather the storm and don't get off that ride just yet. It's not over. It's not over.
Any questions? Amen. Amen. You know, we had those conversations. We had those tough conversations to what, man? What do you want?
Crystal,
what do you want? Yes.
All right.
Crystal, what your question? Are you typing it in?
Love you too.
Love you too, Mom.
Girl.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nene.
Oh my God! Do not talk about no ginger shots on this. That ain't got nothing to do with your marriage. I gotta order
the stuff.
Yeah, I gotta order the ginger, the juice. But I got you. Probably Monday or Tuesday. Oh man, get out of here. Yeah, probably Monday or Tuesday. It should be done by Monday or Tuesday. I got you.
Did you want to close out a prayer?
That's it. All hearts and minds clear.
Absolutely.
You know, just keep pushing. Hang on to what God said. You know, because guess what?
It ain't over.
And look how long it took Abraham and Sarah. What if Abraham would have said, even though he did, not Abraham. Abraham didn't say it. Sarah said it, and he went along with it. But look how long it took them. You know, look how long it took for them to get the exact things that they needed or wanted, or the boy. You know. Sometimes it's longevity, you know. Sometimes it might be a little disobedience, but it's longevity.
Yeah.
You gotta keep going. You gotta keep doing. You gotta keep pushing. You know, you gotta continue to stand on what you said is that God told you.
That's right.
Because listen, me and Aisha was engaged and married in 90 days because that's what God told me to do.
Woo, chat.
We got married. We got engaged on December the 24th. We got married March the 10th. It wasn't even 3 months. This is not mine. I can't give you this. You're trying to get me in trouble.
Lord Jesus.
But yeah, so you know, we gotta remember, man. You know, it's sometimes hey. What God has, it takes you to continue to stand on what He believes. You know?
Amen.
It's rough, you know. Like I was talking to somebody the other day, and they was telling me, was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a divorce because I'm not happy. And I said, so if that's the case, then you might as well stop serving Christ too. And he said, why you say that? I said, have you always been happy serving Christ?
Absolutely not.
And he said, no. I said, so why didn't you stop? because I got to keep pushing. I said, and that's the same way.
Yep, you take that same approach on marriage.
You're not gonna be happy all the time. You ain't happy all the time with yourself. You happy all the time with somebody else.
Tell it.
You ain't happy with you all the time. So how you gonna be happy with somebody else all the time? Sometimes you wake up angry with yourself. Spent my $20 on a pizza for them kids last night. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, so you know you gotta you just gotta push, man. I'm telling you, because the good is always gonna outweigh the bad. It's always gonna outweigh the bad because the good is more nurturing. It's more flavorful. It's more, you know, it's something to remember. It's savory.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So you always it's crazy. You know, we gotta stop that. I ain't happy, so I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be in this no more because I'm not happy. Nobody's always happy.
Never.
You understand what I'm saying?
Happiness is a choice.
Yeah.
You gotta.
You understand what I'm saying?
Every
Because what's that dude's name? It was days that I was upset, and she played them little crazy videos. Throw your smile this way. Throw your smile this way. And you look at him acting all crazy. And it's like, what am I mad for?
Mm-hmm. You smile good.
Yeah, he's just as simple as he want to be. He's just as simple as he want to be. But whoever he has, that's teaching him to market that stuff the way he's marketing that stuff, it works for what it's supposed to work for.
Absolutely.
It does what they needed to do. You understand what I'm saying? That dude is just a simple boy, I'm telling you. But once you can be having a bad day.
We're going to share one of his videos so we can see it.
We got to, we're going to have to figure out how to do it. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta just continue to push, man, because at sooner or later, this too shall pass.
Always. And I notice marriage goes in a cycle. It's like 1 minute you're like really, really happy, then it's like then you get mad, then you go back. It's like a continuous cycle.
I don't want it. See, you didn't even want it.
She just wanted to eat it because it was mine. I don't want it now.
But yeah, so you know it's great. Thank you, Carter. I'm sorry. Thank you, Pastor Carter. I got to get in the what they call it, the space of saying that, you know, doing it the right way, I guess. But yeah, so it's consistent work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you be in your marriage for a year. No, you're not finished. Eat that. You be in your marriage for a year and don't be happy and say, I ain't doing this no more. I'm done with her. But then you go to a job 20 years. You ain't happy yet. And you go every single day.
On time. Even on your days off.
Then you smile. You make yourself happy at the job.
What'd you say, Hoppo?
You go home. I ain't happy.
This was a good session.
Yeah, I think it was fun.
Yeah, I like this. You.
Yeah, you are all right too. Thank you guys again for your time. So I know y'all, our regulars. We see y'all say on week 2, our regulars.
Tell them about the Instagram.
Next week is on Friday, so it's going to be Friday, Thursday, Friday, Thursday, Friday, Thursday, Friday, Thursday, Friday, Thursday. Follow the Instagram. Tell Deaf Do Us Part. Tell_Deaf_Do_Part. 3.10.12 on Instagram. Type it in, I guess. Can you type it in on there?
Let me see.
Yeah. You should be able to type it in, right?
No.
Oh, let me-
Can't post comments.
Yeah, follow the Instagram page. Wow. We got all these shares. Thank y'all. You know.
Mama, no. You about to turn it off. Relax. He say da da da. She said pin it. You know how to do that?
Oh yeah, give me. Hold on.
Yeah,
That's it, right? I think. Oh man, I ain't.
All right, so we're pinning it. Okay.
There you go.
It's pinned. Good job, babe.
But thank you guys again. So next Friday, 9 o'clock. What's next Friday?
I don't know, babe. All right, see you guys next week. Until next time, peace, love, and light to you and your family. Babe, did you want to pray out?
Yeah.
All right.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you as humble as we know how to tell you thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
Father, again, thank you for the great conversation. Thank you for the great responses. Thank you for the great people.
Yes, Lord.
Father, you know what the people stand in need of. You know what they need in their homes. You know what they need in their banks. You know what they need in their minds and their hearts.
Yes, Lord.
So I ask that you send peace, joy, and happiness to their homes and to their hearts, Father. Send love. In your son Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
You threw me off, little baby.
Well, all right, guys. See you all next week. Love you guys. And thank you, thank you, thank you.